Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity mobile studio, it is Mr. Flyperbole, Steve Jaco. What's up tonight, Steve?
What's going on, Bill? And I'll tell you what, the thumbnail for this one says feeling lucky. And I'll tell you what, I'm not.
I tried to go into many games with as positive an attitude as I possibly can, but we were just talking right before we went live here. And, when I see a team that has gone to overtime like 19 times, as the Vegas Golden Knights have, and we knew the propensity, especially for the first like 30 games of the season, the Flyers had for OT. In pregame picks, there would have been an absolutely tied after regulation at plus 300 or plus 350 or something. 100%. That will not be the case tonight because I am in no way feeling lucky.
No.
We'll get to the goalie in a second. But I mean, I just don't know how they keep up with a pretty hot Vegas team.
I mean, you want to talk about teams that are heading in different directions. It is the Vegas Golden Knights and the Philadelphia Flyers. Vegas has won 7 in a row. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Flyers, meanwhile, lost 5 in a row. They are 3-6-1 in their last 10. And 3 seems generous because it's just been such a bad couple of weeks. Like, I really do try to remain positive. It's hard, it's always hard with this hockey team, but there's just no way to do it tonight. There's just simply no way I can do it.
Which, of course, means like the Flyers are going to win 4-1. This is going to be Ersson's outstanding, stand on his head game, all that. And we check out the lineup for tonight, Steve. And listen, there is some positive news. Bobby Brink returns tonight. Brink has been out since his first shift of the Ducks game when he got hit in the head, led to the Noah Cates fight. It looks as if he's going to be returning. And Lane Peterson came on the trip, and Rick Tocchet says he'll probably get in tonight. My question is for who? We are awaiting lines and everything to see who he actually gets in for. Is there like an injury or something I'm not remembering, Steve?
Rodrigo Abels, I believe, is the
injury. Yes, it looked like Abels broke his leg. That's right.
Yeah, Abels' skate got stuck in the ice and he went down, and it's just like slow motion hell.
Yeah, that looked really bad. Oh, geez, man. I can't believe that totally slipped my mind.
Well, I mean, he's a fourth line player, so it was like, you barely noticed he was going. Like, we like Rodrigo Abels, right? And I felt mostly bad for him because he won't get to represent it. Well, we don't know that yet, but the odds of him representing his country over in the Olympics are pretty slim at this point. And that was like, that's that guy's career highlight right there. So it just is a shame.
Yeah. I was like, they need Peterson's a center. I was like trying to remember. I can't believe that totally slipped my mind. But Abels, that looked. I mean, listen, I guess anything could happen. I made the joke like, hey, maybe he's got like T.O.'s bones, and we know T.O. got over that broken ankle, but in like 4 or 6 weeks. But I think their first game, I think Latvia's first game is February 12th against the U.S. Just based on what it looked like, not knowing anything about anatomy or physiology or anything.
Well, and also,
it didn't look like he'd be on the ice anytime soon.
Hockey is also not a sport that lets you know what's going on with these guys. Like, it is just as mysterious as possible.
All right, so Brink returns, and we could be seeing Lane Peterson filling in for Rodrigo Abels on the fourth line as well. We await the line combinations from one of the beats on the scene. Charlie is there. Look at that. All the trips Charlie hasn't taken this year. Suddenly they're in beautiful Las Vegas in January. Snowstorm here back east. And he finds himself crazy that this is one that he earmarked.
What a crazy random happenstance. I wonder how that worked out. I mean, it's almost like he just, I don't know. I'm doing some math here.
I hope he gets stuck in Utah. Honestly, how Jackie couldn't get out of Buffalo last week.
So could Charlie.
I hope
Charlie couldn't get out of Buffalo either.
Stuck in Utah safely, obviously.
Charlie missed the Rangers show I did with Kelly because he got stuck in Buffalo. So There's it's happened once, could happen again.
It could happen again. All right, we await the line combinations. We'll get those to you as soon as we have them. It did sound like same guys would be playing, but maybe some different combinations. So we await on that, and we talk about everybody's favorite topic, Sam Ersson, the de facto number one goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, after Alexei Kolosov went 0 for 3 in the first 3 shots he faced in the last game. So it'll be it'll be Sam Ersson trying to get his season on track, and it's been tough. You see the season numbers; they're absolutely terrible. 6-8-4. With almost a 3.5 goals against and a save percentage around .855. His last 5 appearances, he is 0-4-0 with a .792 save percentage. I mean,
so bad.
79% in his last 5 games.
Like, to have an .855 after you have 19 starts in the season or 19 games played, you're in January, you're past mid-January, and you're at an .855, you're not doing anything right if that's the case. Like, it is just definitely not a better than the numbers situation here. He's not good, and I'm just over it, but there's nothing they can do at this point because their options are Kolosov, who stopped literally nothing last time, or you've got Bjarnason, who's nowhere near ready. I mean, I'm very happy with what I've seen from Bjarnason with the Phantom so far this season, but like, I want him to actually develop. I'm pinning some hopes on that guy. So don't rush him. I would rather sign a guy off the street.
No, the 15 or whatever starts that Bjarnason has made are the first 15 professional starts of his career. I think we can wait a little bit before we see Bjarny up here. I guess the plan is, hey, if Vladar being out ruins the season, it's not like another better draft pick couldn't help, That's really what we have to look at. And listen, we did get some positive news on Dan Vladar today, as much as none of us really want to see Sam Ersson, and Alexei Kolosov did very little to wash off the stink of last season. We did get a little news on Dan Vladar today. While he was placed on IR, he has skated. So Brink is activated, and they make room for him by putting Vladar on IR, retroactive to the 14th. So he's pretty, I think he can come off and play in the Colorado game if he is healthy enough to suit up in that one. They would be able to activate him by making this retroactive to the 14th. But man, it's a tough go right now, and it's not getting any easier, at least over the next 2. Vegas has a ton of firepower, and man, Sam Ersson is going to have his hands full. And you look at the schedule, it's not as if Utah is without good players. They're just not quite Vegas. And Vegas, as great as they are, not quite Colorado. It is a tough 3-game trip.
It's a horrible 3-game trip. This would be a bad 3-game trip if they weren't struggling. But given just how bad they've been, given that just horrible loss to the Rangers, the horrible losses to the Sabres and Penguins before that, and of course the Lightning, who they just looked like they were in a different league from, just this trip looked bad even if they had won all those games. And Utah themselves have won 3 in a row. Utah's hot. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. All these teams are hot. This is just a nightmare. I don't really know how they survive this. If they come out of this with 2 points, I'm super thrilled.
Oh my God. Yeah, they will be a difficult few points to get, especially with the goalie situation the way it is. Now, while he was put on IR today, Dan Vladar did skate, and Rick Tocchet said it went pretty well. So he must be on the trip, and they think maybe he could play by Friday, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Now, I will say, Colorado's one of the 2 teams in the league that average over 30 shots a game. I think they're at 34 or something. They are just absolutely brutal to play against for opposing goaltenders. I saw a Cale Makar highlight today of him taking a shot from the point and just clearly shooting to get a deflection, and it almost like landed on the guy's stick in front, and he was like, he could have lacrossed it into the net, basically. Like, they are so good. So we will see about Vladar, but without him, this is I mean, they're not going to end this losing streak anytime soon.
They really aren't. I'd be very surprised if they come out of this one with the dub tonight. This is a terrible matchup. I feel like they usually play Vegas pretty tough for some reason. They usually get up for these games. And one of the things they were talking about on the broadcast the other night, Boucher was talking about sometimes the home crowd, when you're on a losing streak like this, is actually a worse thing to play in front of. So maybe getting on the road will clear their minds a little bit. But the biggest factor in this is going to be Sam Ersson. It doesn't matter if the Flyers are scoring goals. It doesn't matter if the Flyers are playing better defense. Sam Ersson has to step up here and be a league average goaltender. It's not like Dan Vladar was lighting the world on fire. It's not like he was a Vezina candidate. He just has a save percentage over 900. If Sam Ersson can get in the ballpark of 900, the Flyers at least have a chance. Now, there's a ton of other factors, right? The power play's a mess. In general, the offense feels lost, and well, everything feels lost. The whole team just feels out of sorts right now. But Sam Ersson, if he just is ordinary, that helps the Flyers a ton.
Yeah, I was it's they've lost 6 in a row, and it feels like 15.
Yeah.
Because there just doesn't seem to be an end in sight. And when you say everything's going wrong, like, all right, Vladar's out, so the goaltending is absolutely the worst. The power play, which we know is bad, is terrible. To go along with it, not only aren't they ever scoring, every time they take a penalty, they give up a goal. The penalty kill since New Year's Eve is at like 50%. Since mid-November, it's in the 70s. Like, they're just getting their ass kicked every time they take a penalty, which they do way too often. And like lazy stick penalties, not even like they're running anyone from behind and just getting a little aggressive, some roughings. No, it's all just like, oh yeah, minute and a half in, Sanheim high sticked somebody. Like, maybe,
or like that one we saw Michkov take the other day, where he like completely hooked the guy's knee out from under him, and I think he was thinking the ref wouldn't notice him or something, because he kind of looked around he saw that.
It was so far behind the play. He was just like, I could get away with this, and looked up and they were staring right at him.
It was like he was pulling somebody off stage. Like, that thing was just ridiculous.
So Steve, if I have this right, the goaltending is bad. They can't score. And the special teams are real bad both ways. There are no elements left to the game. There's goalies, there's special teams, there's offense, there's defense. They're not good at any of it right now.
No, the defense, I mean, looking back at the first goal in the Rangers game, Cam York just decided, yeah, I'm going to leave Artemi Panarin completely wide open and not get Cam York, just a guy completely in his head. And I think that really just symbolizes all the problems with the defense right now.
Yeah, York especially has been struggling. I think Andre's been up and down. We know that Risto has gone MIA again. He's day-to-day, but somehow out forever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's day-to-day, but like, he was a game-time decision against Buffalo, and no one's seen him since. Day-to-day, though, like, maybe it's like we got to find him. Maybe he's gone missing.
He might be missing. Go find him.
I don't know what to make of that situation whatsoever. And this team, while I do like a lot of their pieces, we've seen it with the offense. Now we're seeing it with the defense. As soon as you scratch into some of this depth, it's like, yeah, give Lane Peterson a call. Like, who? Oh, the guy
I don't know who that
is.
is.
The Phantoms in scoring because he's like a 30-year-old AHLer. Yeah, him. Go get Lane Peterson. That's basically where we are. It's going to be a tough go. It's going to be a tough night. And you look at the standings. While the East has been basically everyone has the same record, there is starting to be a little separation with Toronto and Washington playing better. Florida may be getting it going a little. Buffalo's been hot. Boston's been better than expected. Pittsburgh hasn't completely fallen off. You see who's not listed here, Steve? And we have like the top 11 teams in the East. It's the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, and if you look at the streaks that every team is on Only one other team has a losing streak similar to the Flyers. That's the Washington Capitals, who have lost 3 in a row. Everybody else, it looks like,
and that's half.
It looks like Ottawa lost 2 overtime games in a row. I didn't even know that could be counted as a streak, but okay. But like, you look at this, and the Flyers really are the one team that's been sinking horribly for the past couple of weeks. Everybody else has been doing pretty good and climbing the standings. And, the Flyers are closer to the Rangers than they are to a lot of these other teams after the Rangers flew the white flag with that letter the other day.
But somehow, they are 2 games up on the Rangers, who have given up on the season. They're a point up. Now, they've played fewer games, but 1 fewer than the Blue Jackets. They're a point up. They just fired their coach. The Devils are probably going to wait till the end of the season to fire their coach and GM. They're 2 points up, like 1 game ahead of that. There is starting to be a little separation in the standings, even if it's only a couple of games, but it's only going to come down to a couple of games. The way the first half of the season went, they are losing ground quickly.
Yeah, and it's not going to get better this week. If they lose 3 in a row this week, they get 0 points. I can't imagine those standings are going to look very good for this team.
No, by Friday, when we're doing this for the Colorado game, very well could be, hey, they lose tonight, they're in last. Like that, I expect that to be the case, because I don't expect these next 2 games to go well. Certainly not tonight. We will talk about tonight's opponent on the other side, the Vegas Golden Knights. They just made a trade. It must be so fun to be a Vegas Golden Knights fan. We will talk about them coming up, but we got to take our break. All right, it's time for me to tell you about Xfinity and the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. What if I could offer you reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together and that fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. Imagine Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online and has all your devices working in perfect harmony. And imagine all that for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream almost 800,000 events each year. And today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team gains a 3-goal lead, you get an instant payout on straight bets, and parlay selections are marked as winners. It's that easy. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus an NPA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah, I'm just looking at the top scores here for the Vegas Golden Knights, and I believe 7 of their top 8 were acquired via trade. Now, like Mitch Marner, that's a sign and trade. That's basically a signing, but I'm counting it. He was traded. Shea Theodore traded for expansion draft considerations. It was basically like, hey, leave all of our other defensemen alone. You can have this one. And it turns out he's like been one of their best players since their inception. But Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner, Mark Stone, Tomas Hertl, Dorofeyev, I believe, was a free agent signing. But Barbashev, Theodore, Hannafin, these are all trades, many of which of the mid-season variety. And I gotta tell you, it's not even the winning, and the winning is awesome. They've won a cup. They've been to 2 since their inception. They're considered a contender every year. I think they've only missed the playoffs once. It must be so fun to constantly be in on every good player, as they just traded for defenseman Rasmus Andersson as well. He has been basically angling to be traded to Vegas since the summer, but it gets done in the last 24 hours or so. And just another really good player that they bring in and say, we'll figure it out. A lot like the Noah Hannafin deal. There's no automatic extension signed, but they just figure they can get it done because who doesn't want to play there?
How do they keep getting away with it, Bill? It's so frustrating. They are so good at working these insane deals. This is who we wanted Paul Holmgren to be. This is what we've wanted the Flyers to be forever. This is kind of what the Eagles are sometimes, where Howie Roseman's going out there and making these deals where it's like Howie season, we're talking about that. And I want this for the Flyers so bad because it felt like the Flyers used to be in on the trade rumors for every big
Guy.
name. Every guy. And it's been a long time since they've been in on those names. Vegas, every time a big name is available, Vegas is the first team you hear about that's in on them. What they do to improve their team is just ridiculous. They will beg, borrow, and steal whatever they have to do to get under that cap, stay compliant, and make a playoff run. You gotta love it. Like, I'm so jealous of it. And it's like, what? It's just frustrating, man. I would love to be a fan of this team.
And when you look at where they are in the standings, well, they're right where they belong. 60 points, leads the Pacific Division. They're on a 7-game winning streak, points in 8 in a row. They have, however, been to overtime 19 times. They have 12 OT losses in the standings. They have 7 total wins after regulation, 6 in overtime, 1 in a shootout. So they actually haven't fared great, but they've stolen a ton of extra points. They just had that big come from behind win on Toronto the other night. Marner's first game against the Leafs. They erased the deficit and then win an OT. They are just I guess if the Central wasn't shaping up the way it is this year, where it's like, man, who's going to beat Colorado? Well, if it's anybody, it could be Dallas or Minnesota. Vegas would be considered among the top contenders, and outside of really the 2 or 3 teams at the top of the Central, they are still, despite, like, you look at the record, win-loss, they're a game over 500, but it's 7 in a row. They're at the top of the division. They've started to figure it out, as they always do.
And, look at those special teams right there. If we could go back to the graphic, please, Britta. The special teams were just such a difference maker for me. 27% on the power play. And that's a big difference maker for the Flyers. I mean, having an abysmal power play is just killing this team. And I mean, also the penalty kill, having that extra 4% is real nice, but the power play is such a huge differential. And looking at, certain games, like in particular, I think of the Toronto game, right? Where if the Flyers just capitalize on their opportunities, they get an extra point in the standings. And maybe we're not thinking about this losing streak just as badly as we are, but this team doesn't capitalize. They will make penalties, bury themselves in a hole. And when they do, and the thing is, this team does get a lot of penalties against them too, because they got a lot of rats. They got a lot of agitators on the team. So when you have a lot of agitators, well, if you have a power play that can capitalize on that, that's a great combination. That's a beautiful thing, as Bernie would say. But it is not a beautiful thing. No. Their power play is abysmal, and it is just killing this team.
All right, so we do have the lines and pairs from Charlie O'Connor here from pregame warmups over in Vegas, and not a ton of changes. However, one I vehemently disagree with. So Dvorak, Zegras, Konechny is together. Cates, Michkov, and Brink are together. So it's Cates and Brink, that dynamic duo, back together with Matt Vey in the Tyson Forster role. And then it's Couturier with Barkey and Owen Tippett. And then Lane Peterson fills in on that fourth line for Rodrigo Abels with Grunstrom and Hathaway on the wings. I don't know. I saw Michkov and Barkey look good together. I wanted to keep them together another game.
Yeah, I wanted to keep them together, and I wanted Michkov back on the right wing where he seems more comfortable. I feel like a big part of the struggles this season have been playing on the area he doesn't prefer. And do you have to adapt to the NHL? Do you have to adapt to your team situation? Absolutely. But the coach also has to realize what is the best use of a star player. And when you're not scoring a lot of goals, you got a guy who can score a lot of goals. Maybe it's in your best interest to work around him as opposed to the other way around.
And you just like, okay, well, maybe we want, Barkey on the left and Tippett. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Brink is kind of only a right winger. Everyone else has played both. Tippett has had plenty of time at left wing. You could have made that work if you wanted to, but whatever. Here we are. Those are the forward lines. And on defense, while it did seem like things might get mixed up a little, it is what we have seen. York Sanheim, Andre Drysdale, and Sealer Juleson. Man, I just really wish they could break up that Sealer Juleson pair. But also,
it's ugly. It's ugly.
I also just don't know like how much time you want to give either guy and how much time you want to take away from your top four when they have been York has been bad lately, but there is clearly like a top four and then a third pair on this team.
Right. There is a very, very clear hierarchy here, and you kind of have to roll with it. It's Sealer and Juleson is just such an ugly pairing. And like, I like Nick Sealer. He's a fine third pair defenseman, but like, he's nothing more than that. When you have Juleson in there, though, because Juleson is so slow, you really like to have a speedy counterbalance to him if you can. And Nick Sealer ain't that. That ain't Nick Sealer's game. He's a hammer for sure. He's not exactly a fast hammer.
No, you just kind of have two staple guns there, and that's your line. All right, it's time for our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up for Bet365. Use code PHLY365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 21 plus an NPA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I didn't do it, Steve, for a number of reasons. I did not bet overtime. One, because I don't like doing that to you. And two, because of this other factor here. Sam Ersson is in net. Sam Ersson, we're going to bet his under saves again, under 23.5 saves. We did this the other night. He got pulled after 14 shots. We're going to go right back to it. He's only gone over this number like 4 times this season. Now, Vegas does get a ton of shots, but the way Ersson is playing, if Vegas has a ton of shots, we'll be seeing Alexei Kolosov sometime in the second period. So I am not too worried about him having 24 saves tonight. And we're also going to go with this Denver Barkey anytime goal at 5-1 plus 500, Steve. This is I'm a little less confident in it. I assumed he would be back playing with Matvei Michkov. Instead, he is with the anti-offense that is Sean Couturier, but we will see how that goes.
Man, it's really bad when you're betting against your goalie to get the under on the saves, and the under is only in the early 20s, like the low 20s. So like,
yeah, this isn't like 28.5.
Dude, this is just like, it shows you how dire things are right now and how bad we feel about this team. And for good reason. I mean, this team's just been a mess for the past couple weeks, and I don't know when they're crawling out of this hole.
I'm trying to look it up here. So the last time Ersson won a game was December 23rd against Chicago. The last time he made 24 or more saves, December 7th against Colorado. He actually played pretty well. 3 goals on 28 shots.
You just got to believe, Bill. You just got to believe.
Oh, I believe very much that we will cash that under bet. I just wish the odds were better than minus 130, but I think it's the surest bet of anything tonight. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY
Looks like we got a super
Flyers
chat,
pregame.
by the way.
Oh, we have a super chat. Good job, Brenna, and good job, Steve. DA Flyers, man. Bjarni is a dinosaur from our imagination. Is that a line from the Barney song?
I don't know. I didn't know there were lyrics, but
I didn't. Yeah,
he's 20 years old.
Like, I ain't messing with him. You. Anyway, listen. I think Carson Bjarnason could be good. He seemed to progress at each level pretty well, but I'm giving him at least a year of AHL without having to worry about this. I guess if they have another injury, they don't really have much of a choice. Like, what do you do? Go and get a guy off waivers or trade for somebody's number 3, like Charlie says?
It was maybe that E-Bug who beat the Leafs a few years ago. Start him.
Yeah, let's do that. Maybe put Matvey in net. Maybe he could make more than no saves like Alexei Kolosov the other night. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers pregame, presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be live as soon as this thing goes final with postgame. Follow the Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Steve Jaco. Until postgame, let's go Flyers.